Can you say hard hats, folks? Hard hats, lunch pail, steel toe boots.
Anything short of a championship this year is a failure. Look at this boomer right here.
You've just got so much talent here.
Somebody said we need to apologize for Jalen.
Can I close it, John? What are we apologizing for? What did we say? What did we do?
Amit wasn't there. Amit knows you're demanding. He wasn't there to trail it out for you.
It's okay. I'll let it slide. I wasn't on the last show where I would have reminded him.
You are correct. You are correct. And he
I
made
heard
an outro.
I heard there's a nice outro.
He made it without you.
I heard I might be part of it. He did make it without me, but
with you in mind.
He also showed it to me in advance too. So I did get sneak peek.
He made it with you in mind. We are here. Jimmy Toscano, John Zannis, The Garden Report.
What's up, dude?
Those of you guys are watching live. You are looking live, or you could be watching on replay. And if you are, what's up, dudes?
Live. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are watching it if you're not live, or even if you are.
Or you could be listening. You could be listening to the audio version of the show, which is available. And you can always kind of run it back, play some greatest hits.
People don't realize it's available on Spotify. I feel like they just don't think that it is. Well, it is, folks.
Jimmy, did you fog up?
Yeah, I did. I did fog up.
You gonna be all right?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm just gonna wipe the screen a little bit. You know, if I go really close and then back up, sometimes it. Nope, still didn't work.
Yes, we don't plug it, Blorp. We don't, because you guys are here, and we don't feel the need to plug it to the people who are here, because you're here.
Because you're here.
Defeats the purpose, but you're right. There's an audio version. On the days that you're not here, you can catch it, obviously, on replay and audio. Good game, good too. Win. Good win. Josue and Bobby at the Garden. They'll be joining us in a bit. But yes, hot Jimmy. Hot guy.
Hot guy. Not hot guy. Big difference.
Not hot guy, but the hot guy. What are we doing about Mahomes?
Mahomes can't deny him, John. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I don't talk about Mahomes because I can't stand the Chiefs.
Love Mahomes.
Even though John's like a Mahomes soy boy.
I love Mahomes.
I don't know why. He's not like that likable at all.
I marvel at him.
He's not amazing. His whole family is unlikable. It goes beyond him.
Oh, the rest of them suck. I can't. Watching him play is just.
You can't deny that he's a good player, but he's not.
Marvel at him.
He's not Tom Brady, and he never will be. You want to know why? Because Tom Brady
because he's going to surpass him.
Tom Brady beat him twice. So as far as I'm concerned, that debate's already over.
Anyway, good win tonight. Bobby's going to be coming in hot with his Zion sucks takes. Which
painful.
Which I'm preparing myself for it.
Running the stats. Yeah. Listen, I don't know how Zion. We'll get into Zion a little bit later. Anyways, great comeback by the Celtics tonight. Great comeback win.
Jimmy's trying not to make these jokes tonight, people, so you're going to have to make them for him.
I know. You know what? There's a restaurant in the North End called Table. No lie, John. There's a restaurant called Table. If I know Zion, he is going there after the game because
I saw the table. Belly. He's going to eat. Zion, when he eats the table.
And you know what? That restaurant is designed to. It's like a family style restaurant. It is like one big table, and it's supposed to be shared between 10 people. But that's the type of place where I feel like he would go and just rent the table.
Just one. How many sets of basically? You know how fat you are when you order, and they put however many sets of cutlery of plasticware they put in the bag.
Yeah.
When you order for one and there's 4 sets of plasticware in there, and you're like,
yeah. No, one will do.
Just one. That's all I got.
Yeah. Or it's actually worse when they ask you, like, how many sets of utensils do you need? Just one.
One. That's my food. Give it to me. Give me my food, please. Quick Zion. We'll get into the game itself. Nice to win a game like this after you've lost a couple with not great execution. Nice to win a game where you were ice cold from 3 and were able to pull it around. Nice to win a game where you went on a run and the other team kind of reverted to ISO ball and went on, went ice cold, and you imposed their will on them. This was great. Great win there, but I do want to quickly give my Zion moment before Bobby comes in here and it turns into a full-on brawl. You and I feel the same about this guy. This is an MVP if he drops 40 pounds. He is ridiculous. The speed, his quickness. He's 50 pounds overweight at least. And he is so quick and fast. He's not even jumping. Scal made a great comment in the game. He literally goes by people like it doesn't even matter. Like they're not there. The defense doesn't matter. He just slices his way to the basket, and then his finesse is what blows my mind. He's a good dribbler. He's a good passer. He made a couple bad turnovers late, but his finesse. Oh my God, this is
the difference.
A 35 point per game MVP. If he just took it seriously, he's that good. Like most dominant force since Shaq. If he just took it seriously, it's unreal.
He's Shaq, but like obviously not like height wise, but he's Shaq, but with like finesse. Shaq, he's pretty much. Shaq had a pretty little like hook and all that stuff, and he had some. Good
I'm saying physically dominant, but the physical.
No, but Zion, I mean, his burst is still there. I mean, he can just bully you around, and then it's the finesse around the rim, and some of those finishes tonight at the basket, the way he just like went. I don't even know how he did it. He had one that went so high up the glass and just.
One spins it up high.
It honestly is a damn shame. He's robbing us of just like an unbelievable talent because he really is his
generational type of talent. Yeah.
And I mean, listen, he's still young enough where he can figure it out, but I don't know if it's going to take a change of scenery. Sometimes
I don't know if he ever figures it out fully.
It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot, but you could see it tonight. I mean, we don't get to watch him as much because they don't have the games on national TV anymore, but it's still there. He's still got it. He just needs to not when the Pelicans go back to the hotel tonight, they cannot drive past the north end because I think they'll take a left turn down Hanover Street, and that might be the last time we see Zion. Like those are the things you got to really focus on off the court. So, but he's unreal talent. And John, we had a famous debate about Zion Ingram versus Tatum Brown. That's on ice right now. That debate's on ice right now. But point I think at the time was before we knew that Zion could eat himself out of the league was that these were two extremely talented young players that you should be able to build a franchise around. Now, Pelicans haven't been able to, and a lot of that is because of Zion. But you can see tonight the way that the Pelicans started this game, they were more aggressive. You can see the way that they can score, whether it's McCollum, Ingram, Williamson. The problem is, and Scal mentioned it, they're not consistent. So you saw it tonight. Tonight was like a microcosm of, I think, probably what that team is or their season is. They come out in bursts. They can all of a sudden they can drop 10 in within a minute, and then they go into these lulls. This game was all about runs from like whether it was the Pelicans or the Celtics. It was just one extreme to the next. And man, the Celtics could not have started any colder from beyond the arc. I mean, the mid range and at the rim was okay. But the 3 points, cold as can be, stemming from that Clippers loss. So, got to give them credit for coming out in the second half. It was a bad
start with that, right? Like, after having that miserable shooting game against the Clippers,
hangover,
to come out as cold as they were to start the game was definitely not great. And obviously they pulled it out. Derek White,
fourth quarter, man,
got his groove back a little bit because that was, again, he's been cold for a little bit from three, and he started this game bad too. I think 1 for 8 or 1 for 7 from three.
Missing everything. Missed the halftime shot that was wide open. But that fourth quarter, he hit that one. No, he did something, I think, in the paint, and then he hit a three, like 5 quick points, and then from that point on, he went into another level. So I got to give the guards credit tonight because it was Drew Holiday. I think for most of this game, I thought Holiday was their most consistent player from start to finish, And then Derek White turned it on. But then again, you look at this box score or just watching the game, Tatum and Brown combined for, I think, close to 50 or 50. So it's like they found ways to contribute too.
They almost both had triple doubles.
Yeah.
21 rebounds between the two of them, 7 and 8 assists respectively.
It was really the second half.
Yeah. Crazy games. Tatum finishes with 10 and 8. Brown finishes 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Super impressive the way they got that going. Neither one shot well from 3. Tatum had a really bad turnover game tonight. Jaylen Brown, 0 turnovers tonight. 0 turnovers.
He took Zion and forced a turnover late in that fourth too.
He did. So, good all around games from those guys. Holiday was good when everyone else was bad. That made it twice as good, twice as important, because a lot of people were struggling and Holiday was hitting shots and he was able to get to the basket some. And he was playing well. And I mean, he did the best, I guess he could, matched up with Zion a couple of times, but they didn't have anybody who was matching up there.
No, I mean, he was physical, but you know what? He gave it right back to Zion. I thought he was physical on the offensive end when he found himself up against him. So it was back. You're not gonna stop Zion if Zion gets into bully mode, and it's just it's a testament to Holiday. Yeah, I mean the guy Holiday's always getting those types of matchups, and you got to tip your cap to him for taking him on and just doing the best he can. But I mean Zion hits some pretty. You watch that game back, you'll see him hit some pretty ridiculous shots at the rim and whatnot. So if you're a Pelicans fan or if you're a Pelicans player, you're pissed off tonight because this was a game where you didn't play that poorly. You actually played pretty damn well. You just happened to play against one of the better teams in the NBA and they turned it on in the second half. But man, the talent is there. I mean, Trey Murphy, the third, hit some big shots for them. They have the guys. It's just, I don't watch enough for the Pelicans. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's just lack of execution or if it's just they don't have the right veterans in place, but they just don't put it all together. And the Celtics, you got to give them credit for whatever adjustments they were able to make it at halftime. I think a lot of it was just missed shots, John. I mean, they were just missing 3 after 3 after 3, and you had to hope that it was going to even out at some point, and it did. So, and one guy we haven't mentioned, we haven't mentioned a couple of guys, but I got to give Al Horford a little bit of credit tonight too. I thought he got better as the game went on. He got physical again against some of the younger, more younger bigs in the league. Again, in obviously Zion, Ingram, and those players had a big grown man, dad strength, offensive rebound and putback in that fourth quarter tonight that I thought was huge for them.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, and everyone's going to make a big deal about it, but this is where the conversation bores me a little bit on the too many threes situation. I'll always favor the easy basket over the 3 because an easy basket is an easy basket. When I'm talking easy basket, I'm saying getting all the way to the cup, creating easy baskets, through passing, not just driving into people and trying to win ISO matchups, where there's help defense coming over and shooters falling out of bounds and creating transition opportunities the other way. I mean, easy baskets. You create easy baskets and easy looks by working the ball, by, working some matchups. I always think that that's the favorite. But, if the Celtics stopped shooting threes tonight because they were cold and went away from it, they lose the game. The 3 ball got them back in it. So, again, I think they're not hugely different than a lot of different teams. You want to see them be able to get those easy baskets as well and not be that entirely reliant on it. But that's their formula. And so they got to kind of stay with it even when it's not going great. And it was going bad again after such a miserable game against the Clippers. And they had to keep shooting, and they did. And that actually won them the game. Yeah,
I mean, listen, you go down 15 or whatever it was in the first half, and then they went down, I think, 11 in the third for a quick second. You're going to try to shoot your way back into it. Now, it's one thing if you can get to the line and get fouls and take free throws, that's great. 3 the hard way is there's no issues there. But they have this team is designed and built to shoot threes. So yeah, I mean, you're going to have nights like you did against the Clippers or whoever, where if they're not falling, then that's just it. And there might be some teams that can get away with it a little bit more because they might have more of interior presence. But this Celtics team focuses on those threes. Even their bigs focus on threes. Porzingis and Horford, they don't have, I guess Kata played tonight, so there's one guy that's not going to be focusing on threes. But
that was it, man. They've 6 of 8 from 3 in the fourth quarter. They shoot 72% of the field in the fourth. They just got blazing hot, and that was it. Lights out. Yeah. They win the game. I wouldn't say going away, but I mean, they just blew by him at the end there. That was really impressive. Fourth quarter by the Celtics. So an all-around good win. I'm seeing some people saying that the Mazzulla press conference has been entertaining. I'm very curious as to why.
I'll say this, John, too, just going back to the threes. And Scal mentioned this on the broadcast. This is kind of basically like coming out of halftime. How the Celtics react when the shots aren't falling is really gonna speak to how well they'll end up and how far they'll end up going. Because, and we've said this before, when they miss shots, they tend to sulk. They tend to start focusing on officiating or whatever it might be. I'm not saying that happened tonight, but generally speaking, they let their guard down on the defensive side if the shots aren't falling. They need to figure out a way to still play hard defensively when things aren't going their way offensively. And I think that's kind of what happened a little bit tonight with them against this team. They started missing some shots, some frustrating shots, getting frustrated, maybe not putting in the level of effort that they need to on the defensive end, because it's the NBA. You can't just take games off, and when you do, you see what happens. You see the Bucks. You see maybe a situation like not a game, but if you take enough time off within a game, it can get away from you quickly. So they need to figure out how to still be engaged and play hard on the defensive end. And that's how you kind of get into the games when the threes aren't falling, John. You get stops defensively. You get out in transition. You tire the other team. Like, they were making Zion run tonight. So he was getting winded. I think he had to call out a couple of times. They were attacking him. So, yeah, it was the threes on one hand, John. But if they didn't get out and get stops and run and transition and make New Orleans work defensively.
No, they played faster too, and that was good.
Yeah,
and
I don't think they got back either.
They got to the basket too. The threes also started falling. Dominant fourth. They got whatever they wanted there. So that was great. I'm really intrigued by this Mazzulla stuff.
What's going on?
He's just being weird in ways only Joe can be. So I'll let the viewers kind of determine for themselves.
Well, Amit will clip it for us for sure.
When Amit clips it and sends it over. That's unless you ask him to make like some spicy intro or outro or something for you.
No, I'm good with the outro. Yeah, we're good for now.
Diverts his attention. Yeah.
Hey, Amit came to my gig on Friday, John. So you're on the hot seat.
Did he?
Yeah.
Hasn't he come a bunch? He's like a groupie now. He's come to
a few. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anymore, but we have fun. We have a good time.
Yeah, groupie.
I'm not gonna say groupie. No, he's not a groupie, but he's got some.
You ever watched?
I think he's got some groupies, to be completely honest.
You ever watch Flight of the Conchords?
You know what? I never I know the show, but I never got into it. It was a little too Portland for me.
Kristen Schaal. No, that's New Zealand. It's the New Zealanders, Brett and Jermaine. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're a musical duo, and they have one fan. They have one fan, and it's Kristen Schaal. And so that's why I was going to make that joke with Amit.
I don't know it. Yeah. I don't know it.
Yeah, Amit's in with the band.
He's in with the band. I'll say that. Amit's on my VIP list for sure.
So does this wash away the Clippers stank for you a little bit?
No, not entirely. No, because again, this goes back to what I said after the Bucks loss. This goes back to what I said after the Denver loss. And I'll give the Pelicans credit. They're not a basement dwelling team, but they're not a championship contending team either. Does it wash it away? Does it lessen the stench? Sure, it does. Because you know why? I like that they won this game, Jen, because if they lose tonight, now they've got a back-to-back tomorrow with Indy. And now we're talking about, oh God, maybe a losing streak. And it's like it could all of a sudden spiral. So I do like the fight and I like the recovery they made in this game. But it doesn't take away from a stinker against a title contender in the Clippers. And again, I go back to the games that they've lost this year. They've lost to the Sixers. They've lost to the Bucks. They've lost to the Nuggets. They've lost to the Clippers. They're losing to all the teams that they're going to see either in the Eastern Conference Finals or in the NBA Finals. So those games are never just going to disappear for me. It's great to bounce back and get the wins from everybody else, but I still care about those games. And that's why I care when they no-show or when they get blown out, because you like to, those are litmus tests for me. And so I want good competitive games. And I want wins in the end. So that's my answer to that. But that being said, it's still a nice win for them.
It is a nice win. I agree. I think people got people got triggered, Jimmy. You got foggy again.
Yeah, I know. It's you know what? I think it's the new thing we're doing here, but whatever.
Okay, yeah, blame the tech.
I think it's the thing we're doing here.
Blame the tech. Welcome, ice cream. Yeah, Joe's comments are about entitlement. We'll get that in a little bit here.
Look at me now.
Yeah, we beat those teams too, but they're like 5-6 against them, Kess. It's not the end of the world.
That's not good. That's not a good record, John. Last I checked, that's a losing record.
Look, I mean, the best teams are going to play each other in and around 500. So it's not great, but you lost OKC. You did come back and you beat Minnesota. You just lost recently.
You also lost to Minnesota.
And you lost to Minnesota. You lost to Philly. So, I mean, you've had a couple.
So, yeah. Listen, they're floating around 500, which I can't expect them to go undefeated against these teams. But you asked me if it washes away the stench from the Clippers. It doesn't wash it away. They got absolutely embarrassed. And they've gotten embarrassed a couple of times this year. And so I don't like that trend. I don't like the idea of just, throwing in the towel in the middle of these games like we've seen.
So I want to address this one. I think people do put them all in the same bucket, and they're not in the same bucket. The reason people bring those up is this Celtics are good enough to sleepwalk their way through most games. Celtics team this year has played bad games and won against bad teams. Other Celtics teams didn't do that as much. They would have letdowns against bad teams, which would be frustrating as hell, but more excusable than giving your best shot with a full roster against a good team and losing. That tells you a little more. So yes, it's not the end of the world. It just means more. I think the OKC just lost to Detroit. I think the emotional letdown when you look past a team doesn't bother me at all. It really doesn't. It's annoying, but I don't rant over those. I don't rant over the losses against bad teams either. But when you talk about them, or when you watch them, they hold more weight because both teams want to make the Clippers came in and they wanted to send a message because they got friggin' embarrassed. It was without Kawhi. They got embarrassed in LA. They came here and they friggin' put it to you. Denver beat you on your home court. They're getting up for you the same way you're getting up for them. So you're getting their best shot. Right.
And that doesn't mean like I expect them
it doesn't mean you're going to lose to them if you face them, but you're like, okay, wow, that was a loss. You'd feel better about a win in the same way. And again, I don't know why fans get this way. If you rip through Denver, the Clippers, Minnesota, OKC, and Philly, and we're 5-0. Are you telling me fans wouldn't be like, look how they've played against the contenders? It's both ways, guys. It doesn't mean because you beat the contenders, you would beat them in the finals, but you'll puff your chest out a little bit about it. If you lose to them, you're going to be like, oh, so we lost. Yeah. Okay.
It kind of like knocks you down a peg or two.
That's it. It just knocks you down a peg or two. That's it. Yeah. Yes, no, Brandon, you're not happy. No, I'm just addressing your nonsense. That's all, okay? You're going to be that kind of fan. That's what I'm going to say. That's it. I'm sorry, buddy. We're talking about this game. We're talking about bigger picture stuff.
That's the thing, yeah. If we're talking about just this game, I have nothing to be, I'm happy that we talked about it. Like, they started off cold. I love the way that they responded.
And they're doing this without Porzingis, too, which is huge. Because he's monstrous. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't want to repeat myself. I feel like I made it very clear that I was impressed by the way that they came back in the second half. They were down 11 in the fourth, I think, or at least 9 in the fourth. And Derek White got hot. Jason Tatum made some, again, I tweeted about this too. There was a play in that fourth quarter, I think it was either the third or the fourth, where he got called for an offensive foul. It looked like McCollum kind of flopped a little bit, but he got hit in the mouth. They called Tatum for it. Tatum, kind of waved off the ref, which maybe he got lucky and didn't get teed up for that. But on the very next play, what did he do? He he saw a pass being made, and he made the steal on it off McCollum, and then he made a nice pass to Holiday, and Holiday went in for the and one layup, and that was off, and McCollum fouled him. So it was like, that's the response you want from these guys. So that was a perfect example of just, again, maybe a little bit of maturity there, staying in the game, staying locked in, not letting the referees or the opponent get under your skin, and making the right play on the very next possession and flipping the game in that way. So I love that from Tatum tonight. So there was a lot of good moments in
this game in general. I liked winning a little ugly. Like I like it being gross. Like this felt bad. It felt bad, right? For a lot of the game. Didn't feel good at all. Didn't get into a rhythm. You knew you were short. You knew the personnel you were missing was affecting how the game was going. You weren't hitting your threes again, and you're starting to worry about like, is this like kind of a funk or not? It's too short to say regression to the mean, but like, like we saw what happened last year, ridiculously hot for a while, and then it came down. It was like, so if this team went on a stretch of like 10 games, 15 games shooting 32% from three, does that change everything about the perception of the team? So yeah, you get a little, you see them not falling again, and like, I don't like that at all. And they toughed it out. I like that a lot. And they did it, they got timely baskets from Hauser and from
Hauser had a huge three. Yep.
From whatever, Keita with the play of the day. The dime to Hauser for the dunk. That was great. Those back-to-backs were terrific there in the third quarter that pushed him up and gave him a lead. Great. It was a good game.
I counted 0 Keita tweets from Bobby, I think. Counted 0.
So I'm curious about this comment here.
I don't know if that's true, actually. What's that? TJ537 writes, in reality, we're missing something to change our opinion of this, guys.
They could be talking about you and me. They could be talking about the Celtics. I do wonder if it's like you're still waiting for that. Maybe you know what it is, Jimmy. Maybe I might misinterpret this comment, but I'm going with it anyway. I guess what people are looking for is like certainty, right? Like you want to see that thing that makes you feel like definitely this is it, right? Because I wouldn't say you've been fooled, but you've gotten your hopes up, now for multiple years. And I know people kind of like to ride that whole, the Eastern Conference Finals and stuff like that, which is great. But the reality is you're just not good enough to get there, not good enough to win it. And like this year feels like you are. So I guess any indication that you might not be it kind of heightens everybody's senses. We see how the chat reacts after. The Clippers you should have seen it here. Holy crap, man. This place, I was cheering people up. I was like, relax, everybody. We're fine. Everybody chill. People were freak fire. Joe, these guys suck. Tatum's never going to win it like this. Brown's contract was a waste. It got grisly in here. It got really, really, really ugly. But that's the thing. You want to just feel good, right?
Was it as bad as they said, in your opinion?
Obviously not.
But
they got killed.
I'll say this about you, John. Maybe this is just this year. What? You've been relatively non-panic. Like, we may have to change the panic meter because you haven't really, I want to say you haven't really cared much about any of these losses.
Because I'm kind of here. I kind of think that it's nothing. It's, how you felt. I'll put it this way. For about 15 years covering the Patriots or longer, nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. There were 2 games in the season, the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. That's all. Nothing mattered. So they could play like ass in a game and be like, who cares? They're going to go here. It's so like, you realize how good this team is. None of it really matters. It's like, when you get to that point in the playoffs, are these guys who have let you down in the past going to not let you down this time? It's all anyone cares about, right? I'm not, before I get angry, because here's why I would get angry before, just to understand it. Like, I didn't like these guys. Like, I didn't like what they were doing. I didn't think they had the pieces. I didn't like the way the Jays were playing. I didn't think they could do it on their own. I thought they needed help. I wasn't a Marcus guy. I didn't buy it. I never bought it. I buy this team because I think they've got it. So now you're just waiting till you get to the playoffs and just to see, so do they actually have it? And if they do, you'll just feel good about it. But I think Kess is right. You're never going to get there. You're never going to feel good. Like so good that they've got it locked up. I'm never going to feel that bad because I know how good they are. If they're healthy, they get there. That's when we're going to kind of make our decision making. But I'm not getting high and low with a lot of things because I've seen enough to know it's not the same thing. They're able to win games like this when they're playing bad. They're able to execute down the stretch. They're able to win games with their defense. They've won games a lot of different ways. It's much different. It's much better, but you just got to see how it's going to play in the playoffs and whether Tatum and Brown step it up when all the other teams do, you know?
Yeah. No,
So that's why I'm not freaking this year, because before I had a lot of issues with the team. I don't have issues with this team or how they're playing or when they shoot too many threes. They'll have good nights, bad nights, but I like this team and I think they've got it. We'll just see what happens. So that's where I'm at.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. My only concern is probably something that doesn't exist, which is not wanting this to turn into a trend where they do lose, they do start to play, lazy basketball for the next 20 games because they're bored and they just want to get to the playoffs, like you say. And they know that they look at the standings and they're a 1 seed and that it's really their conference to lose. I'm all about trying to build good habits going into those playoffs. So yeah, I'm not freaking out after a loss, but I'm making a note of it and saying, okay, that was a weird game. This one was also weird. Not this one tonight, but just game X was a weird game. And trying to take, what are they taking from those games, or what's Joe Mazzulla taking from those games? Now, Joe seems to downplay a lot of these games, much like you do. So maybe you two are like two peas in a pod in that sense. You're a lot more similar than you think.
I'm saying I've seen enough in the regular season to feel good about the team in general. I don't know
the Celtics do not have a Tom Brady and they do not have a Bill Belichick, and they have not ever won anything yet either. So that would be where the comparison ends.
Would it stun you? Would it stun you? I mean, again, it's like
I think this team.
I mean, again, Miami's the 8th seed right now. Would it stun you if they lost a 1-8 matchup to Miami? Stun you? I mean,
the Celtics?
No, it wouldn't, right?
Oh, I mean, this team, yeah, I think it kind of would. They just dismantled the Heat too. I know that's just an example you're giving for an 8 seed, but like to your point and to your credit, John, I agree with you that this Celtics team, I feel a lot better about it than I have past teams. So yeah, that would stun me. But I've talked about this already. The second round is not going to be easy. You're going to end up probably with the Pacers. Maybe.
So that's what I mean. It's like I picked the Heat because even that wouldn't be a cupcake.
No,
but like in the second round, Pacers, Knicks, whomever,
Yeah, I know.
All of that feels like far from a certainty. So yeah, I think they're better than these teams. I said it today. Yeah. I think there actually is a slight separation between them and the pack in this year. I think it's them and then everyone else. I don't think they're that far behind, but I think that the 2, 3, 4, 5 are actually pretty tightly packed together, and the Celtics I think are a bit above them, but not until we get there. We're not gonna know. That's kind of
they are a bit above them.
That's just to explain. That's just to explain why I'm not.
Yeah, I mean the 7-game series. Yeah, the 7-game series switches, changes things up too. I mean, coaching becomes more important, I think, in a playoff series. Adjustments mid-series, becomes a little bit more of a chess match. So, how do you feel about that? I guess that's something that you'll cross. And then, again, just going out and doing it. We keep saying that they can do it, but we need to actually see them do it.
We do. We do. We're going to hear from Joe Mazzulla. We're going to hear from Bobby Manning. Ridiculous things from Bobby. I'm preparing you guys. I'm telling you.
I just went through his tweets. I went through his tweets, and he's like 5 straight points off Zion turnovers. You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that. He's just
agenda. We also have an agenda here. Ahmet, this thing doesn't work. It's too low. It's too low. Doesn't work.
Move the ticker.
My lower third doesn't work.
We'll just get rid of the ticker.
But my lower third doesn't work. I don't know why that is.
There you go. You got rid of the ticker. Now it works.
Now it works. Dudes.
Hey.
We went from 150 to 200 in bonus bets. Why? Freaking Super Bowl, baby. Happy Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
To all those who celebrate, from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, the official partner of the NFL and the official wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. And if you're like me, Jimmy, are you like me?
No, thank God, but go on.
Whew, okay. Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks. Jimmy has a go-to. What is it again? Buffalo something?
Oh, buffalo chicken dip?
Buffalo chicken dip. That's your thing. That's your jam,
Super
right?
Bowl. You got to have. I mean, everyone's got to have a buffalo chicken dip at the Super Bowl, amongst other things. But yeah, you got to.
Amongst other things, and placing some super bets. So again, we've moved it up here. Okay, Super Bowl 58, FanDuel. This is the fun stuff right here.
Love that.
Props galore. Tons of them. A lot of good stuff that you can check out here. And if you go to FanDuel.com/Boston, 200 in bonus bets, up from 150. Now it's 200 in bonus bets.
That's awesome.
All you got to do is bet $5. That's it. If
do it now.
I'm sorry. I take it back. If your first $5 bet wins, so you got to win one. Okay. You got to bet 5 and win one.
Okay.
Visit FanDuel.com/Boston to sign up. Once again, FanDuel.com/Boston. You can put the ticker back now. Look at all these podcasts at the bottom here. You look at Hags, Max, Bedard, Garden Report. Oh, so good.
What about Hags? What are we talking about?
Just at the bottom, you get to see all our podcasts. It's pretty
cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
So go check it out. Go check out FanDuel. All right, heading back to the game.
One last thing. One last thing on FanDuel.
Okay, yeah.
I tossed in a quick. I tossed in a bet at halftime on the Celtics plus 2.5. That's how Vegas had this game tonight. Because the Celtics were down by whatever it was they were down. Plus 2.5. I think it was a little bit before halftime.
Do we want to hear from Weird Joe?
You got to keep the live bets. You got to check FanDuel during the game. If you think the Celtics are, let's say the Celtics are down 10 or 12, but you don't think they're playing horrible, that's good value. You put in a live bet, put in your $5 FanDuel bet. Celtics make their comeback. You win the bet, and then you've got $200 to work with for the Super Bowl.
Okay. I'm down.
It's a value bet.
I'm down. Hey, we've addressed this one, Ethan. I don't know. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about it. Yes, yes-ish, but also Ime is the type of guy that a team could tune out. Also, because he's hard and he could be a bit of an ass, and sometimes people don't want to hear that. So you never know who the right guy for what team is. I'll say this about Ime, and I'll put it to bed once and for all. Ime was the right guy for the team he coached. Jimmy. Ime was the right guy, couldn't help himself. That's what she said. Ime was 100% the right guy for that team he coached. That team needed a slap upside the head, and he gave it to him, and he turned him around, and he made them a friggin' killer, and he got him to the finals. I don't know if he's the right guy for this team. I don't know. So, yeah.
I'm going to answer that by saying I think that it hurt them last year. I think Ime gets them back to the finals, and I think they maybe even win it. But I thought they lacked toughness last year, and we saw that against the Heat. And I don't think it matters this year. I don't think the Ime thing matters at all this year. So It's over. It's over and done with.
Yeah, it's over and done with. It's over and done with. You may or may not love Joe, but I think continuing with the Ime stuff, I think is silly at this point. If you didn't like Joe, you could have gotten someone else. So at this point, it's on management. If you want to be the Bucks and Brad doesn't think Joe's the guy, you can do the Adrian Griffin right now and get spicy with it. You got assistants on there too. If you really didn't like the guy, great. You've got options. You're the Celtics, okay? So you can do stuff.
The balls.
But I don't know what I'm throwing to here, but I'm told Joe did weird stuff a couple times. Here's the first one. I don't know how weird this is, but this was Joe talking about expectations or entitlement, I should say. And I can't tell if he's like digging at his team or the unfair expectations around it.
You brought up the sense of entitlement a couple of times.
I don't think it's the team personally. I think it's just this general narrative of like, it's just supposed to go our way all the time.
So do you think that's just outsiders thinking, the Celtics should be wiping everybody off the court? Like what?
I didn't say that.
So tell me what this.
I just think I just think this. It just happens. It just happens, and it's just like being down 10 in the NBA is really not like foreign to like the 99 percentile of the NBA. Like that happens all the time, And so like at halftime I said that I was like, what are we doing? Like it's a 10-point game. It's 3 possessions, in an NBA game, and or the idea of having to like go battle for a win, like earn a win, is like Celtics have to earn a win tonight. It's like playing in the NBA. It's a good team, And so like we can't lose sight of the fact of like we have to earn a win every night. It's going to be just as hard tomorrow. Doesn't matter if the record's 5-20 or they're undefeated. Like you see it all around the league,
So
I'm fine with that.
It's fine, but it's Joe versus the media, and basically like.
Is it? I didn't even.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it is. It's actually I speak Joe now. I can decipher this pretty easily. Okay. What it means is you all think we're king shit and we should come out here and eviscerate every team that's lower than us. And NBA teams are good and we have to play hard out of the time. And sometimes it's going to be ugly and we're not perfect either. And it's about the process and it's about how we go about it. But if we don't go out there and blow these teams out, you guys ask us questions about how we didn't do this and didn't do that or blah, blah, blah. And basically it's your expectations of the team. Entitlement is the wrong word. Because entitlement makes it sound like it's the players. What he means is the media expectations or the outside expectations of the team and how the narrative around the team is shaped by it, which is if you don't kill him, you did something wrong. And what he's doing is defending his team against that. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense the way you put it. I took it a little bit more where he was telling his players like, hey, none of this is given.
He's in his feelings again, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, sure. I get that. I get that. So he's basically just saying.
And I think people are seeing it too. Tatum's got it. Yeah.
Right. I think.
But it's also the excuses for poor play. I think there's just a lot of defense of the team, So.
Or is he telling his guys, like, you don't have the opportunity to coast. When you do, this is what happens. Like, we do need to play hard. Doesn't matter who you're playing. We need to play hard and we need to compete. It's the NBA and it's the 1% of the 1% in the world. And if you take nights off, you're going to end up sitting the second half or you're going to end up sitting the fourth quarter because things got out of hand quickly. I don't know if that had any part of that message or if it's just strictly him saying, what do you guys expect? Of course, it's going to be hard. It's the NBA.
We're human. We play different games. These are good teams. But, I think it's kind of like, you guys get hard on us when we're not being this way. It's again, a little bit of oversensitivity, but I don't give a crap. I just don't get it after a win. I don't know what the line of questioning was there. But that's what it was. I'm also told he and Bobby had a weird exchange. And this I'm already nervous to play. I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is. I'm going to play it.
Joe, you talked a lot before the game about pulling lessons from a game. Do you even pull lessons from a half after that first half, especially the way you came out in the second and applied them on some of those runs and even some of the runs they went on in the second half?
I'd like to get your take. You thought the second quarter was bad?
25 points.
We only gave up 24.
Yeah, but in terms of the offense, how that went better in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key, right? Is I think the first half is there's like this sense of entitlement where like we're just supposed to play like amazing basketball every quarter, every game, and that's just not how it works. And like what I said to the guys at halftime was like it felt like we gave up 24 points, like it was 25-24. We won the quarter after giving up 36, and so like. This expectation of it's supposed to go a certain way all the time it can be extremely unhealthy, and we have to just continue to play regardless of whether down 5, up 8, it doesn't matter. And so like I thought the momentum changed for us in the second quarter when we finally started to defend, gave up a 24-point quarter. Loved the process of the shots that we got in the second quarter, and we can't be defined by a result. And so if we're going to only play. We're only going to feel good about ourselves when the ball's going in, then that's a recipe for short-term success. And I thought that was what the issue was in the second quarter, but I thought we played great. So I would say that 3 quarters of basketball was kind of who we were.
Okay, so that must have been asked before the second clip that we played, the first clip that we played, because that makes more sense that he's talking about expectations on the outside, not on the inside. You know what I mean?
I just say, I've said this before. We can pick on Bobby. You guys can't pick on Bobby.
Right.
Okay. So I don't like that, Joe, but that's okay. Again, it's
clear that he's talking. It's clear that what you said, your interpretation of his first clip that we played, it's clear that you were right on that. But
and I honestly don't mind these things. I just don't even know why you need to be defensive in a win. Here, these aren't scathing, but like difficult questions. At this point, I'm confused by it. But yeah, I don't see the need. I don't see what's both the questions. I just don't see the benefit of it. I don't get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, they scored 25 points in each of the first 2 quarters. Like, typically that's low scoring for them. So I think it's fair for Bobby to bring up that aspect of it. It's, yeah, okay, they clamped down a little bit on the defensive side, but the whole point of what he was talking about was offensively. So yeah, I don't really see the need to ask. It's like you actually don't care what Bobby thinks of the second quarter. So don't say, "Oh, I'm interested in what you think." You tell me. Like, that's no, right. You actually don't give a shit. So that's whatever.
And this is exactly right. This is basically here's the thing. Here's the secret. It's not a secret. Every player in every sport and every coach in every sport thinks everyone asking them a question knows nothing, and they're right. Nobody in that room knows what they're talking about within a mile of these guys. They're not even close. The things that these guys see and the complexity of the game and how they view it. I'm talking everything, angles, how they approach. I mean, they dissect it in such a granular level. We're just Neanderthals trying to say, even the people who think they know stuff don't know anything. And so, yes.
Oh, you know ball. You know ball, John.
This is the contract between know-nothing reporters and the people who answer the questions. You kind of let it go, because if you had this feeling all the time, every answer would be like this. Every single one. Because nobody is entitled to ask a question because they don't understand on a high enough level to be able to question these guys about why did this happen and how did this go that way. It's just about the kind of the professional exchange and the dance that you do in the back and forth. That's all it is. And some people call it out, you know? And Joe likes to call it out. But again, nobody in that room knows, like I said, everyone in that room, even the people who know basketball great, are just graduated kindergarten, and Joe has a PhD. Like it's not even close.
But I don't think. I mean,
and that's not insulting. It's not insulting. They're that good. They're that good.
Right, but
they know.
I'm not gonna speak for any of the other reporters. But when I was covering teams, I didn't go in there. I went in there to try to ask questions so that I could relay the information and explain it to other people who also don't know.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Right.
Yeah. So like, I think that originally what the reporter's job was.
But when they feel challenged,
kind of evolved over the years now, where everyone is an analyst too, and they want to break down the film, and go, by all means, please do. But I think that's where there's maybe more of a back and forth between reporters and coaches, or reporters and players, when the reporter wants to tell you or wants to shape the question in a way that's kind of insinuating something or telling you something that you're doing wrong or whatever, instead of just asking and saying, hey, like, I'm just asking this question so that I could fill a quote for my story on what happened tonight. You know what I mean? So it's just changed over the years, but I can understand why players or coaches would be like, dude, like, shut up. Like,
when they feel challenged, when they feel challenged, what is it you saw that you didn't like? Basically, like, they might be asking a relevant question. He just doesn't think you have the right to the question. And again, they're not wrong. So I get where they're coming from on it. I think that's kind of what it is there. But yeah.
But don't come at Bobby. Only we come at Bobby.
Only we do that. We're going to wrap this in a little bit. I'm not waiting for Bobby if he's going to take an hour. Just not going to do it, Jimmy.
Is Josue there?
You know what? I'm handing the show to those guys.
Yeah, I thought they'd be on by now. We're almost an hour in.
Yeah, we're almost an hour in. And these guys aren't supposed to make you wait after a win, right?
No, they're not.
What?
Maybe they're talking to
Not-
Zion. Maybe they're snacking in the visitor's locker room with the rest of the Pelicans.
What do you think? Does Pacers tomorrow on a back-to-back, you think Porzingis plays?
I'm going to say yes. I do think he plays. He wants to play. I saw him he was out practicing, wasn't he? Or I saw him like some video shooting around or whatever. I think that they know Al's not going to play tomorrow, and so they said, let's hold Porzingis out one more.
I kind of think so too, right?
They keep saying they're not worried about the ankle, so okay, if you're not worried about it, then put him in there. Let's see what's going on.
All right, John, we'll hang a little bit. Thank you for the plea. I like that. I need this. Dude, Jimmy, my kids haven't been in school for 8 days.
Oh
buddy.
my God, yeah, that's crazy. Any progress today?
No, this is my strike beard.
Yeah. What's your opinion? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer that.
No, you don't want to hear
it. Yeah, that's tough. I don't even. Yeah, it's a tough situation over there. So for people who don't know, John lives in Newton, Massachusetts, and all the teachers are on strike. So he's are you playing like daddy daycare over there this week?
A little bit.
Wow.
I'm looking after 18 kids tomorrow.
Wow. Thoughts and prayers to all those children.
I know. Exactly.
How did that end up happening?
Is
that to force the teacher's hands and say, look what you're doing to our kids?
This animal.
Yeah. Look what they're forced to listen to.
Pheasant, yeah. My daughter practices soccer there.
Just sit them in front of the garden report.
No, one of the parent organizations, they arranged it where like some middle schoolers are like trying to entertain kids at like, the basement of this such and such, and they need like a parent to keep them from like dying. And I'm that guy tomorrow. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck to the kids, not to you.
Good luck to the kids. Good luck to the kids. Yeah, I'm that guy. Jimmy, your Pacers tomorrow. What do you think?
Listen, I'm a huge Pacers guy, but I'm very intrigued by the Pacers after this trade that they made. I do think that they're easily a top 4 team. I think I had said top 3. But it's hard for me to really say one way or the other if they're better than the Sixers or the Bucks until I see a little bit more with them. But was it the last game they played where Halliburton got hurt? I think it was in the middle of that game where he did that split. So,
teach ball.
I want to see them. I want to see both teams full strength going at it.
Oh, super Zervis. I'm right down the street. We're at Danger. Anyway, go ahead.
You don't actually care.
I do care. Halliburton.
No, I'm just excited for the last one. I'm excited for the game. It's just two entertaining teams. Both have really good offenses. I like what the Pacers do to teams. They really make you run. It's like I said this to Bobby or whoever. I think it was Bobby. Or no, it was you. If you're the Celtics, you can't fall into their trap, which is playing their game, which is shots, offense. It's very rare that you're going to out offense the Pacers. What you need to do is try to slow them down, play hard on the defensive end, and get physical with them. That's the one thing I'll say about the Pacers. I don't like playing the Pacers. Yeah.
Get out and run.
You have to be tough and physical with them. Slow them down, knock them to the ground. Don't be dirty. But I don't think the Pacers want to get into a defensive game with anybody. They want to just shoot. They want to be flashy. They want to dance around. Tyrese Halliburton wants to be, Steph Curry 2.0 now and all this stuff. And I think the Celtics can't fall into that trap. They can't let, what's his name? My guy, McConnell, TJ McConnell. They can't let TJ McConnell run the show like they did last game.
I don't like this notion of slow.
John, they can't let TJ McConnell run laps around them like
that's all that happened last time. Make shots, defend. Just defend. That's it. Yeah.
You have to defend but you can't get into a run and gun type game with this Pacers team. That's what they want. They want to maximize possessions more than you do. So McConnell was the X factor in that game after Halliburton went out, and they had no answer for him. They just let him run around and run laps around them. So I like that they have some film to go off of now after that, because that was unacceptable. So I'm excited for the game. That's my take. What's yours?
I think Nick is taking over, effective immediately.
Oh God, that would be something.
Yeah.
That would be a boomer show.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's where we're at. Jimmy, are you comfortable rapping?
Well, did we hear from Bobby at all? I'd like to get his take.
No idea.
Where the F are you?
So I will agree with this comment, Soda Pop. I did not for 1 second doubt the 2018 was winning the title. I didn't. At any point in time throughout the course of the whole season, they struggled in a real crap 7-game series with Atlanta. It was the most lopsided 7-game series in the history of sports. They won every game they won by like 35 points, and then they lost. That was a weird series. And then they just never let up. I never at any point thought they weren't going to win that. I actually felt the same way about that team up until KG got hurt in 2009 too. I was like, they're going to steamroll to a title this year. And so you're right. That's a little different. But there's more parity now. There's so many good teams. There's so much talent in the league. It's crazy. It's some really, really, really good.
And you can't even win the way that they won anymore. You can't win playing defense the way that they were able to do it. Like, you can't be physical the way that they were physical. You can't have a guy like, I feel like Garnett wouldn't even be in the sounds crazy to say, but Garnett wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that he was able to do probably for most of his career. So yeah, it's a different league now. There's talent all the way up and down, and maybe that's what Mazzulla's talking about a little bit. And like, hey, like, none of these games are given; they all have to be earned.
Right.
So that's what we can expect, I guess. Competitive playoff. Nothing from Bobby. Nothing from Josue.
Nothing we can do, guys. They're deep. Yeah.
What else is going on?
They're deep into it.
What else is going on in the league right now? Anything?
I think we're interviewing Sean McVay's dentist and his barber tomorrow to see if they can, they might be interested in the offensive coordinator.
Oh my God!
Position.
You might as well at this point. Can we do Patriots for a second while I wait for Bobby? Can we just do a few minutes of Patriots?
Okay.
So, I'm going to throw it to you because I want to make sure that I'm not taking crazy pills here. Patriots obviously had a problem. Front office, coaching, all the way down. They got rid of Belichick, which I think they probably should have done and they needed to do. But why did it just end there? I didn't think it was going to stop there. I thought that would have just been like everybody was going after that. Instead, it's the complete opposite. They're hiring people who have been with the team, who left the team, who coming back with the team. This guy, Caley, who was the freaking tight ends coach for like 5 years in New England. And then he just went to be the tight ends coach in St. Louis. It's not like he got it. You know what I mean? It's like, and now all of a sudden he's qualified to be the offensive coordinator. Nobody knew who this guy was for his entire time in New England. And by the way, the tight ends absolutely sucked for the past like 5 years here. I mean, as a tight end done shit, excuse my language. So I'm not thrilled about that as an offensive coordinator. They signed a defensive coordinator with no experience as a defensive coordinator. And I'm Team Mayo, but he has no experience either. So very, very interesting. And they're not hiring a GM. So I don't know who's running this ghost ship currently. I really don't know what's going to happen. I you know what it is, John? I'm like, I didn't know it was going to be this bad when it all ended. I knew it was all going to end, but I just didn't know that we were going to be faced with a situation of like total doom and gloom. And I mean total doom and gloom. I thought that there'd be a couple of guys hanging out. I thought there'd be a guy waiting to coach. I thought there'd be some good players. There is nothing. So that's my Patriots rant. And maybe I'm overreacting, but I don't think that I am. I think I'm pretty realistic. Now, the only saving grace is that they absolutely nail this third overall pick. That's their only saving grace. And I'm not saying I know who it is, but they just have to nail it. It's not my job to know who it is. It's just my job to complain about it if they don't nail it.
Yeah, I'm already mad. Every draft I get pre-mad because I'm just waiting for it to be angry about the pick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't get deep. I can't go into it. I'm in a good headspace right now. I don't.
I just need to say it's weird too because I don't have anywhere else to. My friends don't want to hear me anymore. I'm completely tuned out by them, so I need to say it to anybody who will listen.
Yeah, it's bad, and look. I said this once, and I'll say it one last time. I do not understand this obsession with continuity. People who are familiar with the system, the Patriot Way, this guy coached here, he knows us. Oh, hire from within. Look, I don't give a crap if the dudes are aliens and I don't care who you bring in here. This idea of the Patriot Way somehow continuing on post Bill and Brady is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Just get good people. I don't care where they're from. Why do you think recycling people who have some experience here is the right play? I don't get it. There is nothing to continue. As I've said, nothing. The ML Carr, Chris Ford Celtics were not a continuation of the Casey Jones, Larry Bird. They're not. It doesn't matter.
No, they weren't, John, but we lost a lot of Celtic pride over that stretch post Bird.
But
things went
Celtics pride
very fast, and then it had
Celtics
to
pride isn't a thing. Celtics pride was Red Auerbach.
Oh, contraire, my friend, it is a thing.
It was those dominant teams that own the NBA and then a really great run from those guys. It was just dominance year after year after year. The second they're gone, you're just another team. Pride and all of that doesn't translate over. Every team has a pocket of time in their history they can draw back from and be like, oh, this was the good old days, when we played like this and when we won title. Doesn't matter. The Celtics just had a much, much longer one. But when you're 40 years removed from it, the Patriots 5 years from now, the Brady belt, it's over. It's been over. There's nothing resembling those Patriots anymore.
You just need good players. Gone. You need good players.
You just need good everything. I don't care where you get them, right?
Sure. No, I don't care where you get them either. You just got to get them and you got to keep them. And that's how you instill a new Patriot Way with the new crop of players. It's not going to have anything to do with the guys who were there. It has nothing to do with Teddy Bruschi and Willie McGinnis and Tom Brady. And as just like it has nothing to do with the second iteration of them, Edelman and Gronk and whoever else. It's going to be a new crop of players, but you got to get them in the door. And you got to keep them, and you got to build around those guys. You don't, it's not carrying over. It's a new generation.
What carries it over is the fans and the interest. So if you keep winning like the Celtics did, it stays that way because the passion is there. It means something because it means a lot to a lot of people. You dip in and out, you lose people along the way. And so it matters less. And so this notion of it being a thing is great. But the Celtics, like I said, they've won one title in 40 years. Most people, most NBA fans currently are like, what? You know what I mean? Is it's great, but Boston is great. We like basketball. So when basketball's good here, everything is great, and that's kind of what makes it a big thing. It's the fans, honestly, more than it is playing for the Celtics. So the fans here are what make it, are what make it good. So anyway, that's it. We're an hour in and we don't have Bobby and Josue. I got no choice but to wrap it, Jimmy.
I got one more question for you. Thoughts on the Lions choke job last night? Or do you blame Dan Campbell? What's your take?
I don't blame Dan Campbell. I would have kicked the field goal for sure, but I don't blame Dan Campbell. The most egregious thing was running a run play when you had 3 timeouts and you had to burn one on the goal line there, forcing an onside kick. And that's the only super egregious thing. I don't get not kicking the field goal there because you might still get the ball back. So just play it even. it's now a 7-minute game. Go out there, stop them, or let them score, and then go score again. But you want to be within one score. It's the most important thing, like that really, really matters. So I might have. I would have kicked the field goal, but
analytics ruining the game.
No, that's the dumbest thing ever, and I'm so tired of these boomers that are out there and say it. Those guys never surface when that shit works. They never do. I've been saying this my whole life. I'd be going for fourth down everywhere on the field. I think it's so dumb that you keep giving the ball back to the team. 4th and 1 everywhere, you go for it. And finally, teams started doing it, like Philly tush pushing on their own 20.
Yeah.
Great. Keep the ball.
People are freaking out about that too.
No, I love it. So, all right, we're gonna wrap. We got another one tomorrow. So, no garden presents tonight. We apologize, but we will see you guys later. All right.
Stay for the outro.
We'll stay for the outro.
Wait, Ahmed's got an outro for us, I think.
No, he doesn't.
He said he was gonna work on an outro.
He had a phenomenal game.
Phenomenal.
Forfeit's out. I think it's an auction.
That did not sound like a chair.
It was a freaking chair. It does sound like a chair.